Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And what is mystery schools? So I'm gonna break down what is mystery schools for anybody who wanna know. Now let's look at the term school first. What does school consist of? It consists of a classroom, students, a teacher. And what is a teacher doing? A teacher is teaching education. Now education consists of a class or form of information. Now I say a class or form of information because there's multiple different forms and classes of information. Education is just one of them. And when we got the school systems right now ran by the government, education is something that's being taught. So that's just a form of information. Now, looking at mystery. What is mystery correlated to? This is more correlated to the frequency vibration realm, the shapeless formless realm, the realm that your spirit live in, that controls this body. Remember, we all spirits utilizing bodies. This is why even the ancients know they was calling the sky god or the air god or the water god or the sun god. Understand the words that they are using. The sun god. So they're not saying the actual sun, they're saying the god or the spirit that's controlling that physical form for the time being. So when you got the air god, they give it names like Shu or shit like that, right? So that will be what they call the spirit that's controlling the air at that time. As civilizations go on, it may be another entity or spirit that control that shape and form. But we need to understand that it's frequency vibration, then the energy realm. And then the energy realm is the non-physical to physical. All that is the energy. Time, shape, form, light, gas, sounds, whatever. All that is, and then what creates that is the spirit. Now, mystery is correlated towards the spirit realm. So what does this mean? Now, spiritual truth is different from physical truth. Now, physical and non-physical, that's all energy. We are spirits using this. So, mythology, mysticism, my story, mystical, mystic, the mist, mystery, everything tied to that is spiritual truth. Now, it's hard to understand spiritual truth if you're not spiritually inclined. Because being spiritually inclined, you will understand spiritual truth. Spiritual truth is hard to understand in the physical realm, which is the energy realm, because it's hard to understand the history, the date, when it was actually created as a shape and form or put out in the world in the first place. But you know what's created. So that's why mysticism and mythology is spiritual truth. And to find your spiritual truth, you have to find what you resonate with your soul, which is your individual spirit. To find your soul group and to find your spiritual path. Now, for the most part, that's the mystery. So it's spiritual truth. So when you put mystery schools together, you get the astral realm version of what you see in the physical realm when you go to school. See what I'm saying? So, before we break down actual entities and things out here, because you have to be careful when you're saying God and things of that nature, because you may not know what God you're talking to, because there's always going to be a God, because there's always an authority figure over a certain energy signature, which will be a frequency or a concept. See what I'm saying? So, say I created a religion, and thousands of years later, I put myself in a position where the language and whatever people was worshiping is basically me. But they got their own idea and correlation about it. That right there is what I'm talking about. When we talk about things, energy is being created by the frequency vibration realm. And when you say God, you just may be talking about an entity that has intellectual property, that own the intellectual properties of that energy signature. And that may not be the overall. And that God may be led by God. So that's why I say be careful when you're saying God if you're not really spiritually inclined. And here's another thing. There's a difference between spirituality and the conscious and being conscious. So you have a lot of brothers in the conscious community right now that think just because they read a lot of books and think that they're into a lot of things that talk about the spirit, that they're spiritual. No, that's two different things. You can have a person who don't give a fuck about no books at all, which is me, but there's a lot of people in the world don't give a fuck about none of that shit, or nothing about history, and they the most spiritual person in the world. And they understand things that the person who's conscious of the spirit, but they're not spiritual, understands. See, a person who's just conscious, they're just conscious, now they can be consciously aware of a spirit. But now they're trying to force themselves and force onto others to be consciously aware of the spirit also. So they're trying to make the spirit physical in any way, shape, or form. Watch out for these motherfucking demons, because they're going to be lost and find themselves in situations where they're only in circumstances where they're just judging. And being in that frequency vibration, you're in that world. So you're going to be getting judged. So that's a whole nother video. But for the most part, you learn this from the mystery schools. Now, what makes a mystery school? What creates a mystery school? So let's talk about what creates a mystery school. Now, say me and you come up with a concept, a new science, a new math trick or something like that, right? Now, we put this in the world. Now, due to time and experiences, and based upon how much attention it's getting, and based upon how much this information works or not, based upon the realm of reality we in, it's going to let you know if it's going to become a source or not. Many different people is going to be able to pick up on this idea and have their own perception about it, and either take away from it or become a virus, or add to it and make it become a bigger organ. Now, throughout this time, right, it becomes something that people could be aware of. Now, remind you, it's not physical, so it was created by the spirit, but you can utilize physical things to bring it in existence, and utilize your shape and form and signs and symbols to bring it into existence. See what I'm saying? Now, that created the classroom. That created a higher firmament. That created the classroom now. And that created what could be taught in that classroom. So now when you have an idea or your own idea about what, or when other people have their own idea about what me and you created, right? They're participating in the classroom that we created. The mystery classroom, the mystery school that me and you just created. Now, me and you might not have built the whole school yet, but we may be certain teachers in a specific classroom, and this classroom may teach this, and we are the teachers there. So now we are the owners of that intellectual property, so we don't necessarily have to be in a person's physical space to affect this person or create circumstances for this person, based upon the concept that me and you created. Now, that's a mystery classroom now. Now, depending on how good or bad of a teacher we are, it's going to let us know based upon the results and what kind of grades we get, based upon the outcomes that we see when people are using our concepts in their everyday life. See what I'm saying? So that creates a mystery school. Now let's go into it. Think about how many motherfucking beings and bodies have been utilized by spirits here, which you are a spirit utilizing a body. So just think about how many motherfuckers been here before you, taking shit from other constellations and other universes and shit like that and bringing that shit here, right? even creating packs and groups and pushing out certain ideas. And then people go out in the world, and now these motherfucking ideas is just floating out, and they just floating as concepts in the world, and you just go out and breathe and you have senses and pick these motherfuckers up on your antennas subconsciously and start to act on these things in your life. So you're constantly in school because you're constantly learning. This is why you're learning about life. You're in a spiritual school. So the mystery schools, now when we talk about mystery schools, this is when we think about indoctrinations now, and think about theologies and religions and philosophies, right? Because all of these were created to understand the realm that we are in. So you may have someone who is very smart, someone who is very dumb, but it's their perception of trying to understand the realm we are in. And then you have people who pushed out shit that worked, and then you have people who put out shit that don't make sense. So when we talk about mystery school, now what becomes the mystery is seeing what spiritually works and what spiritually doesn't. And this is what's going to start, and going into these schools and learning from these certain teachers, right? Because there's certain entities now that it took intellectual property over that, and that they're the new principal, they're the new teacher now, teaching that shit, and this, that, and third, like that. And when you look at it, you can look at it like common sense, or look at it like when you're going through life and going through experiences, knowing what to do and what not to do now. You know what I'm saying? Having life skills. You know what I'm saying? Having street smarts. You know what I'm saying? That's a spiritual school. So you go to that school when you by yourself. Think about niggas in jail. They done did a lot of shit and got a lot of experiences. Now they in jail. They got a lot of time to think to themselves. So they was skipping class because they was in the physical realm too busy. Now that they sit their ass down somewhere, they got no choice but to get their ass up spiritually and go to school, go to class. You know what I'm saying? And start to learn. You're gonna have certain teachers. Now oversouls and entities and all type of beings is motherfucking teachers. You got Jesus. This is a motherfucking teacher. Now you got good and bad teachers. Now to break it down a little bit more. Now they give you systems that may or may not work, but it depends on where your spirit from and what you spiritually resonate with and what works for you. See, it depends on what works for you. And if you share, and if something works for you like a religion or something like that, then that's your spiritual travel. That's your experiences. You may have certain family members or things of that nature that been in that school and graduated from that school and went to college and learned and got degrees from that mystery schools and shit like that, and you just on that family lineage path. So you know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of people grow up in religious families or grow up in certain that they go to college and they gotta learn this specific trait because the family business make sure that you do this and you on this path. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different ways. But when we talk about the mystery schools, think about all the indoctrinations that's out here, right? And so, all indoctrinations, just because I'm using the word indoctrination don't mean it's necessarily bad. But an indoctrination is just a system, a pattern, or a form for you to use that predates you. That was brought here by other people who was trying to correlate themselves in this 360 the best way that they can. So, you know, this is why I say be careful about getting old lights, bringing it to this light to make it work. Like old civilization and old information and history, and keep trying to over-explain outdated information because people don't give a fuck about that shit really no more. This is all new shit right here. This is beyond new age shit. You know what I'm saying? The new age brought in talking about mystery schools. And this is where you start to get taught about all the indoctrinations. So you know around 2012, 2014, everybody started learning about the Illuminati. Then everybody started feeling the need like they need to teach about the Illuminati. And things of that nature and shit like that. And then the people who have already been above the shift, when the shift came, they risen above the shift, they could be here to teach you about that shit. So you learn all about the mystery schools. Now you got people like me here teach you what a mystery school is. You know what I'm saying? So now you know what a mystery school is. You know any form of indoctrination now. You look at it like, okay, this is just a classroom. I don't want to take this class right now. I don't want to take this class. You look at it like that. Like, I choose what class I want to take. I want to take this class, and I want to take this class. And therefore, you're not getting indoctrinated. See, the New Age movement, they got indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And now they're trying to come up with ways of how to get out the indoctrination. And the higher level people is teach you what it is in the first place. So you know, okay, this is what indoctrination is. Okay, it can be useful sometimes and sometimes it don't. And then see, now you looking at shit from an outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? When you rise in consciousness and rise spiritually, you are above things. So you have an understanding, but you overstand it. So it's like you don't look at shit like other people look at it, who are actually in the shit, because they are in it. You're looking in it from outside, like, okay, I might want to go there, I might want to party today, or I might not. Everything is a part, everything is a body. Everything is a body for you to use. Same way, video games and things of that nature, everything is a form for you to use. So when you look at the highest non-physical forms in this realm of reality, look at them as the same way as the less dense. Your spirit want to use all that shit. But people like to tie the physical to the non-physical, like the non-physical got something to do with the spirit realm. Nah, it's the same fucking shit, just less dense. That's it. Flight boss, bitch. That's why you got a water cycle. It's explaining to you. But y'all are lost in religious texts, so I understand. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air. But Archangel Uriel is here. And y'all probably thinking like, damn, he call himself Uriel, but he ain't religious. I don't get it. No. This is for me and my soul group. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn, we understand energies and frequency vibrations.